Hey everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are having a really good day. I'm back out here with the flock. As you can see, we've moved the fence slightly just to give the chickens some fresh grass to peck over. It's been mercifully a lot cooler here this week, and we actually had some rain both Thursday and Friday. So that was fantastic news and very, very happy. Sadly, we have some very sad news from the chicken world, namely that one of our pullets, which is one of our young chickens, she was a hen. She unfortunately passed away on Friday morning. Now, we have this electric fence, which you can see here. This is our electric fence, and the electric fence is, it's okay, Charlie, I'm not coming in. The electric fence is there because we have lots of coyotes around here. I think we had a bear in the garden not too long ago, certainly by the footprints left in one of the vegetable patches. We have bobcats, we have other wild predators, and so it's our responsibility to keep an eye on the chickens. We used to just let them free range until we lost 2 hens earlier this year to a coyote. And despite having a rooster, they still weren't protected. So we've now got this electric fence arrangement set up. And the youngsters can come and go as they please. They can still fit through the gate, through the fence even. And that's not been too big of a deal because they tend not to stray very far. There's a higher number of them. They are not at that point yet where they're kind of wandering off and doing dangerous things. They're actually just behind me, behind the sweet corn. Unfortunately, on Friday morning, our cream leg bar hen, or pullet, decided to try and get through the fence while it was on. Now, normally, chickens don't get electrocuted because their feathers protect them. So they can interact with an electric fence and be, just absolutely fine and dandy as long as the electric fence doesn't touch any bare skin. And most chickens have a full coat of feathers, so no harm, no foul, if you'll forgive the pun. But in the case of our cream leg bar pullet, she managed to get stuck in the fence this morning between my wife coming down and letting them out and me going outside about 30 minutes later to check up on the hens. And she'd managed to get through half of the fence and then managed to get her wing arranged in such a way that the electric wire went underneath her wing, where on most chickens, most birds, in fact, most birds that have fairly substantial feathers, there's a little bit of a bald spot. And of course, that's not far from her heart. And so she, unfortunately, managed to electrocute herself. When I found her, she was still alive and breathing. I turned off the fence. I got her out of the fence. And unfortunately, she passed away shortly after, about 5-10 minutes later. Her heart, bless her, I think had just been given too much. And we tried everything we could, but unfortunately she passed away. So this weekend we will be burying her under our lilac bush. We've got a new lilac bush to put in. So that is not so good news from the world of chickens. But the 5 remaining youngsters are doing just fine. You can see them there. They're doing just fine and they're almost fully grown. So sort of another 4 or 5 weeks, we should maybe see some eggs, which means we'll have 10, potentially 10 chickens, 8 or 9 of which will be laying. So that will be both exciting and we'll have lots of eggs that we won't know what to do with, especially though it's now me and my wife and there's nobody else living here. We're going to have some spare eggs. So if you're a personal friend of mine, reach out. I'll hook you up with some eggs. But that's not what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you today about the possibility of exchanging some of your salary from your job for an electric vehicle. Now, in the UK, if you have a company provide you with what's known as a company car, you work for a company, they give you a car that you can use for your job and also use for personal things like commuting to the office, then you have to pay something called company car tax, unless you have an electric vehicle. And forgive me, I'm not au fait with the latest regulations because they change quite frequently. And obviously I haven't lived in the UK since 2015. But if you have an electric vehicle, you either pay no company car tax on that benefit, or you pay a much reduced rate. And, you know, traditionally, if you have a company car, you're taxed quite heavily because it's called a benefit in kind. You're being given access to a car that your employer wants you to use very often for the purposes of work, traveling between client sites or visiting people as part of your job. But then at the weekend, you also get to use that car. And so you're taxed on that because it's not a direct financial pay, but it's a benefit that you get to enjoy. And if you have an EV or a plug-in vehicle, that is dramatically reduced. And so some folks, the NHS is a good example, are exploring the possibility of offering employees a reduced annual salary, but at the same time giving them access to a company car, sometimes even a company car that they might not have traditionally been given access to. Now, for the company offering it, there are, and I'm not a tax advisor, there are some benefits, but there are also some benefits to the person who is getting that company car, because they obviously then don't have to own a car of their own. And if it's an electric car, they don't have to pay for the fuel. And so there's a big benefit, financial benefit to doing that. But I'm curious to know, if you worked in a job where your boss came in one day and said, we're going to give you a company car, it's got to be an EV, would you take that? Would you take that benefit in exchange for a little less in your paycheck every month? Now, in the UK, the Tesla Model 3 is currently the most popular company car because of this incredible incentive that makes it easy for people to have a company car and not pay an inordinate amount of tax on it. But I'm curious if there were similar tax laws where you live, and maybe there are, would you take a company electric car and, own it, well, not own it, but drive it through your business or through your company that you work for, and then use it for personal use? But would you want that if it then meant that you had a smaller salary? I know in some parts of the world it's salary above everything else, but for other parts of the world, being able to get to and from work and have the free or at least reduced cost use of an electric car is a phenomenal benefit to have. So I would love to know in the comments below if that is something that you are indeed interested in. I know it's something that I would certainly be interested in, and to some extent and purposes, I guess I'm going to get to benefit from something like that when we get the Ford F-150 Lightning, which is the pickup truck that we're hoping to pick up next year. And one of the benefits for me owning that pickup truck is that if I drive it more than 50% of the time for work, which I probably will, because we drive a lot of places to film things. I've got to drive to Colorado in just over a week's time. If I spend more than 50% of my mileage driving for work, I can make some massive claims off my personal tax return as a business owner of the company. And so there's definitely some benefits there for me. So I know what I'm doing. I'm essentially doing that. Now, I'm not giving myself a pay cut, but I'm still giving myself a benefit, I guess, a benefit in kind for using that. And right now, the US tax code, again, not a tax expert, is very favourable if you own a massive, big truck. It doesn't even have to be an electric vehicle. It just has to be over a certain weight. The US tax law is ridiculous. And that's one of the reasons why we see so many small business owners owning massive Hummers and other massive pickup trucks they don't really need because of the tax benefits. Now, for me, I genuinely will need to use that because we have to travel a lot and we have to take a lot of camera equipment with us. And right now, the way we do that is with that trailer attached to the bolt. And even now, we've got so much gear that even just For short trips, yes, that works. But if we're doing like a week-long thing and we're taking 5 of us, then we need something bigger. So that's why we're trading up. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to know what you think. And as usual, I'll be back next Sunday with more Sunday musing. That is it for today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, to Transport Evolved Shorts, and to our main channel as well. Thanks on behalf of the entire TE crew. Go out to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreon supporters. Special thanks to our $50 a month patrons. They are David Janakula, Andrew Martin, Guido Drahoa, Brophy, Wolf, Gordon C, Tesla in the Gong, Paul Conway, Sean Ueda, Regine Fellows, Anonymous Freak, Jim Burness, Royery, Litwin, and Denny Hyde. And our deepest gratitude goes to our $100 a month supporters, John Lyons, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback, Will Graylin, Ellery, Hennesley, and Ian. If you'd like to join the ranks of wonderful supporters, you'll find links as usual below to Patreon, Bitcoin, and Ko-fi. And don't forget that you can go to our TE swag store and buy some TE swag. I am wearing a TE top underneath this one, but this is a Patreon hoodie because, in case you didn't know, I am in fact a Patreon ambassador. I'm one of the, I suppose I'm probably one of the older creators. You know, I've been with Patreon a long time, and so I'm helping them expand what they do and help other people who are starting out in the Patreon world as well. So that's just a little disclaimer there. I'll be back tomorrow, as I already said, but until then, keep evolving.